Hey guys, Ron here, and for almost 3 decades now, Pokémon fans have desired a direct dialogue with Game Freak, the developers of the core series of Pokémon games. We've all wanted to ask this controversial company the reasons behind their odd choices, the answers to our questions, and the facts behind our theories. So here is a list of all the appropriate questions I've collected across the internet, whether they've been asked since Generation 1 or Gen 8. Keep in mind that since this video is directed towards Game Freak, we're not asking questions about the anime, like why is Ash still 10? I'm also not going to mention the impractical questions like, why don't we have a Pokemon game with every single Pokemon region? Because that's kind of entitled. I will do my best to avoid questions with obvious answers, like, why don't you let fans make ROM hacks? Because that's copyright infringement. But that's enough criteria. Let's begin by going back to the good old Game Boy days. Here are 3 examples of questions fans have had since Generation 1. You've heard them a billion times, so I'm just going to roll right through them. What is the Pokemon world? It's been answered before. Junichi Masuda has stated that Game Freak doesn't think of the Pokemon world as an alternate Earth, because that would limit the scope of possibilities. To him, it's a similar yet different planet, where our problems don't exist. Masuda has also answered another popular question: what's inside a Pokeball? It basically creates a comfortable environment. The stronger the ball, the more luxurious the environment is. Like a Master Ball simulates a 5-star hotel and spa. But there are questions that the staff hasn't answered. We all know that Pokemon Wars have existed throughout history, but was there a recent Pokemon War? In Gens 1 and 3, Lieutenant Surge famously exclaims how Pokemon saved him during the war. What war? Is it the reason Kanto has relatively less adult male trainers? Even if this may have been retconned in later generations, it would still be pretty neat to know what war Lieutenant Surge was originally referring to. There are a few iconic theories that can be easily debunked by a snap of Masuda's fingers. Fans have been speculating about the death of Blue's Raticate for decades, while to me, it's clear that he simply switched Raticate out for a stronger Pokemon in pursuit of power. I do wonder what Game Freak's actual explanation is. Lots of fans would love to know if Gengar truly is Clefable's shadow, if there's a genuine reason why Venonat and Butterfree look so similar, and if trait evolutions truly do inherit the traits of Pokemon they are being traded for in a last-ditch effort to impress their trainers. In the end, there are still many questions about the older generations that fans constantly ask, but a lot of them have already been answered or are simply understandable through context. We all know by now that Mew isn't under the truck, and that Lavender Town Syndrome is just a myth, but there are still some unexplained phenomena in later generations. So let's finally skip to the most mysterious games in the franchise: Pokemon X and Y. It's almost been 10 years and we still don't know who or what the Lumiose Ghost Girl is. Why are we not the ones? This mystery has creeped out fans for a decade and has increased the popularity of the Hex Maniac trainer class. It's clear these games were relatively unfinished with cut storylines and content. We all want to know if the locked entrances to Kalos' power plant was some kind of indication that there was more to this location. Perhaps an actual Volcanion event. And what about Koroe Station? Where does it go? Many fans assumed Galar, and now they're speculating that we'll be able to go back to Koroe in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It's pretty coincidental that Kalos is geographically close to 2 other regions and has a secret station that could potentially let us travel outside of the region. But the biggest question fans constantly ask regarding Generation 6 is, where's Pokemon Z? X and Y would have greatly benefited from an updated version. Did Game Freak simply want to debut a new generation for their 20th anniversary? Is that the reason Zygarde's lore was shoved into Sun and Moon instead? Probably, but I don't know. That's kind of the running theme of the video. I don't know the answers to a lot of these things. There are a ton of questions regarding specific Pokemon or groups of Pokemon. Of course, you could kinda ask Game Freak questions about literally every single Pokemon. I'd love to know the accurate origins of the entire Pokedex, but here are the Pokemon most fans have been inquiring about for generations. For example, is there really a starter Pokemon pattern? Fans have a theory that grass starters are all based on extinct animals, fire starters are all based on the Zodiac, and water starters are all based on weapons. With some loose exceptions, this kinda works, but some are a stretch, while others are pretty explicit. It would be phenomenal if Game Freak made it somewhat official. What does Diglett's body look like? Is Dugtrio just 3 dudes cuddling? We may never know. What's Cubone's deal? Is it related to Kangaskhan or not? By now we all know about the Beta Marowak evolution that holds a baby. So Game Freak, just tell us if Cubone is a baby Kangaskhan, or at least if Ditto is a failed Mew clone. Masuda did state that he has only recently heard of this notion, at least in an interview that took place like 10 years ago. Perhaps because he wasn't as involved with the designs of Generation 1 Pokemon, or he simply wants to continue the idea that all Pokemon are created individually. That would mean that Masuda also may think the Pokemon that turned into the legendary beasts are also not any Pokemon we know. Pokemon fans till this day want to know which Pokemon became the legendary beasts. Were they dogs, more appropriately cats, or even evolutions? And what the hell are the unknown? I know the whole point is that they are unknown, but why make us collect them and not reveal anything about them? Are the unknown Arceus' arms? What are the 1,000 arms of Arceus? It's revealed in Pokemon Legends Arceus that the Arceus you receive at the very end of the game is just a part of Arceus. Does that mean that Arceus can split itself into 1,000 clones that do its bidding, therefore acting as the arms of Arceus? I like that theory, but I've always enjoyed the possibility of the unknown using their reality-bending abilities to exact Arceus' will, almost like angels. In Unova, the dragons Reshiram and Zekrom split from each other, creating the husk that is Kyurem. But what did the original dragon look like? Now, with the possibility of even more Pokemon Legends games, fans desire one set in Unova, with the original dragon receiving its debut, in order to answer this decade-old question. What did Genesect look like before it was experimented on? I hope showing its original form would shut up the fans who think this bug used to be a Kabutops. What does Mimikyu look like? Why does everybody die upon looking at its true appearance? What is Eternatus' true form? Out of any legendary Pokemon, I would have bet that Eternatus would have received an original form like Ultra Necrozma. It would have given way more context to the seemingly unconventional Pokemon. Forgive me, but I expect my Pokemon to have skin. And then there is a whole category of Pokemon who hatch or evolve under mysterious circumstances. How is Kangaskhan born with a baby? How does Kadabra get its spoon? Or Machoke's belt? Why not show these Pokemon hatch or evolve without these additions, and then have them appear in battle later? The next category of questions I like to call negative questions. Why wasn't a thing included? For example, many fans have asked why isn't there a bottlenose dolphin Pokemon? Some understand that Japan's controversial dolphin hunting may be a factor. Some don't even ask questions because they assume Gorbis and Lantern are dolphins, even though they're fish. And some are satisfied by Kyogre, the orca, which is technically a dolphin. Many fans, including myself, constantly ask why there are no difficulty settings. A simple option to allow us to, let's say, only use the same amount of Pokemon as our opponent, or for the gym leaders to use slightly stronger teams, or something other than the set switch option, which already proves that such a toggleable switch can exist. Why is there no option to turn off EXP share, like in Gen 6 and 7? I understand that Game Freak likes to scale the game according to the EXP share and keep it mandatory like some other RPGs, but the perfect balance was already found, and options, or even the illusion of an option between two settings, is always better than none. With cutscenes becoming more prominent in current generations of Pokemon, why is there no voice acting? We already see some fantastic voice acting in official Pokemon animated short films. It notably elevates the experience, and fans are at the point where they expect it to be right around the corner. It's not necessary, but Pokemon fans also don't know how to read. Now, based on the pattern Pokemon themselves set of releasing Gens 1 and 2 games on the eShop, Pokemon fans have been wondering, why isn't Gen 3 on the Nintendo eShop yet? It would give Nintendo instant money! I've personally never bought a game on the eShop, and I would easily get Pokemon Emerald on my 3DS or Switch, oh my god! That would be amazing! It's a no-brainer. It's been 4 years since Crystal was released there, so what is taking so long? It took 8 years after Heart Gold's release for Gold and Silver to be re-released, and it's been 8 years since ORAS was released, so we're just about due. There is another similar question that many Pokemon music fans, including me, have. Why hasn't Game Freak released any official soundtrack since Let's Go Pikachu? They skipped Ultra Sun and Moon, which had some of my favorite tracks. Sword and Shield and Legends Arceus, both with their critically acclaimed music, have no official album in sight. Was it too complicated releasing Sword and Shield's soundtrack when the DLCs were right around the corner? Well, it's been 2 years now. On the visual end, Shiny Hunters have always wanted to know why Game Freak Shiny locks certain Pokemon. We know that it's because Game Freak doesn't want the color palette of a Pokemon to be different between cutscenes and gameplay, but why not do the shiny check before the cutscene? Or better yet, realize that no player cares if their Pokemon suddenly becomes shiny after the cutscene. It's honestly a wicked surprise. Similarly, I understand that Sword and Shield's DLCs were meant to have a surprising reveal, but the final 3 questions aim at Game Freak's practices and are relatively general. So why didn't Game Freak mention the DLCs during the National Dex debacle? Some of the backlash in June of 2019 could have been alleviated if Game Freak would have said that hundreds of Pokemon would be gradually added back via DLC. For free. You don't even need to pay for these Pokemon to be accessible. I mean, they must have been planning on releasing the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra at that point. And in the first place, why are features taken away from every single Pokemon game? This was technically answered. Game Freak likes to make it so that every generation has its own unique features, which allows fans to go back to certain games if they want to experience those additions. They believe that if every game kept the gimmicks of the previous one, then there would be no reason to return to older regions. Now, I understand that the game would be bloated if it wasn't streamlined to have the necessary features, but iteration is always a better practice than completely replacing beloved features. I mean, Game Freak already does that. Every generation has beloved additions that have stayed with the franchise till this day, but I don't need to tell you that the inclusion of rematches, the Battle Frontier, secret bases, seasons, and even Mega Evolution would all garner almost unanimous praise. And finally, why is Game Freak so secretive about beta Pokemon? Over the last few years, it seems like beta Pokemon have gotten leaked to consistent and unified excitement. Everybody loves checking out beta Pokemon. Everybody except for Game Freak. It makes sense for a company to keep its experimental and underdeveloped copyrighted material under wraps, but why not treat fans to some of this material here and there, decades after the release of these games? They've done it for Red and Green's beta, and they technically showed off a primitive Gold and Silver demo more than 20 years ago, but I guess beta Pokemon from Gens 3 onward are simply way more classified. I'm sure the artists themselves would show us more behind the scenes work if they could, but considering Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise of all time, the legality of exhibiting information is way more rigid. But I'm sure there are way more questions you'd like to ask Game Freak, perhaps enough to make another part. So let me know in the comment section below. Leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this, and make sure to check out the Calm Mind podcast Birdkeeper Toby and I started. Link is in the description, as well as my social media. Check the description for the music I used, the t-shirts I made for you guys, and my Patreon where you can get cool rewards like seeing my videos days early, or click the join button for the same rewards. Bye!